Hello and welcome back. Well, there's been some interesting developments with the search for William Tyrrell's remains, and I wanted to share this with you today. So, hope you're all well. So, police search for blood at the Tyrrell property. So, forensic teams have spent the night searching for traces of blood outside the home where William Tyrrell was last seen in 2014. Specialist police officers sprayed chemical luminol outside William's foster grandmother's house in Kendall on the mid-north coast. The chemical lights up when it comes in contact with iron in blood that produces oxygen. The Australian Federal Police are expected to arrive at the house today, bringing ground-penetrating equipment, X-ray devices and a concrete radar. Authorities hope that within weeks they'll be able to put an end to the 7-year-old investigation into the child's disappearance. Overnight, it was revealed a car had been seized from Guymer in Sydney. It will be forensically examined as the police follow new leads. So, and it's actually the foster grandmother's car that they have seized. So this is getting a bit scary. It is awful and sad, Dee. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm still a little bit under the weather. So police to probe whether William Tyrrell's body could have been moved in foster grandmother's car. So police believe a car they seized in Sydney last week could have been used to transfer William Tyrrell's body from his foster grandmother's home. Police took possession of the hatchback from a home in Gymea, and I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name, in Sydney's south last Tuesday, 7 years after the boy vanished from Kendall, about 360 kilometres away. The 3-year-old's foster grandmother died 8 months ago, and the car belonged to her. And it's undergoing forensic examination at a secure facility with results not expected for several weeks. New South Wales Deputy Commissioner Mel Lanyon this morning said investigators would leave no stone unturned. New South Wales Dominic Perrottet and New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet said he hoped there would be a breakthrough in the case shortly. I want to thank the police for the work they're doing, and I think I can speak on behalf of everyone right across our state. We have been heartbroken by this entire story. This picture is the picture that we see all the time of William Tyrrell, and it's very haunting. Acting on fresh information, police have begun a third day of new searches at the house where William was last seen, the home of his foster grandmother at Kendall in the north mid-coast. Forensic teams spent the night, so we know that they're going to use X-ray equipment. Neighbours yesterday watched as officers leading a cadaver dog returned to the house and began digging up the garden beneath the second-storey balcony. New South Wales Police Commissioner Mick Fuller had earlier revealed investigations were focused on a new person of interest, although who that is remains unclear. Police and Rural Fire Services volunteers are expected to comb 3 new locations around Kendall in the next 3 weeks. And we looked at these yesterday. There are mixed feelings about the operation in the tiny town, about 4 hours' drive of Sydney, which about 1,000 people call home, watching up to 20 police officers carefully dig into dirt and vegetation, removing whole plants from the ground, was Viv Gunter, who lives across the road. From his home, he could hear the whirling of the machines as they sifted through the dug-up soil, the sound echoing down the usually quiet street. What a horrible process this would be. Mr. Gunter, like the rest of Kendall, has his own theories about what happened to William. We quite often discuss it over a beer at the club, wonder what's going on, will they ever find anything, he said. This new theory, where it's come from, we would all like to know what's happened with that because it's totally out of the blue, because we all expected someone to grab him. Someone had grabbed him. Now the search is back home, back in town. Whatever the outcome of the renewed operation, Mr. Gunter knows it is unlikely to have a happy ending. Earlier this week, police confirmed they're looking for William's remains. We get very upset, especially my wife. She gets upset. She can't wait to see something happen to shed a light one way or the other. I think it's bad news. Neeks Jones was part of the search efforts for William in 2014, and she was out again on Tuesday hoping to find answers. She has a daughter about William's age, said the community had been living in fear. Most people in the community have been stressing about whether someone's out there to take our kids. So here she is.
So you came out 7 years ago, more than 7 years ago.
I've been out here numerous times. Freddie and Margie with me has been out a lot of times too, and a lot of the community have been the same. We keep coming out here to try and, so we've all gone out to, different trails off different areas and sort of looked and, any sort of something that was sus, we've all sort of gone and, had a look ourselves to see if we can find something.
How do you feel seeing all the police investigating the home where he was last seen?
Well, when I first heard that he was 4, my daughter was the same age at the time, and I knew he only had little legs, so he couldn't have gone far. And we kept saying, you need to investigate or search the area close to home because, if he wandered away from home, he'd be close by. And we just couldn't understand why this kind of search hasn't occurred before. So it's like this is a blessing to see the police here today doing, sifting, as you see, they're sifting through matter, and again out at the search site, we've just been out there as well, and it'd be nice to find some answers.
Are you hopeful that there'll come to some sort of conclusion from the search?
Absolutely, and his sister and his biological parents need those answers, and the point of interest that have been targeted. I can't even imagine what they're going through as well, and the community. Everybody's been in fear or scared for so long, and we all want answers, and we would have hoped to have seen that little boy come back, but unfortunately it's a different kind of investigation here today, and at least hopefully we get some closures there.
Okay, so New South Wales' handling of the case is also under the microscope after the state's top cop said resources have been wasted during the course of the past 7 years. Despite a $1 million reward, an 18-month inquest, and 600 people of interest, there have been no arrests. Commissioner Mick Fuller admitted people had needlessly come under suspicion. He said the current team of investigators, led by Detective Chief Inspector David Laidlaw, had inherited a bit of a mess, but have really cleaned up the investigation. Police Minister David Elliott downplayed a suggestion of mismanagement. Anything that's happened in the past is in the past, as far as I'm concerned. My focus at the moment is making sure in the next couple of weeks those police that are involved in this operation, as well as the RFS members that have been deployed, get on with the job with the minimum interference. Mr. Elliott said he would support any post-operation review. I think you'll find with a mysterious incident like this that every single option has to be investigated. Let's hope whatever the conclusion is, it gives closure to the family and community. So something that has really interested me, this is merely speculation, something in this story. The foster grandmother died 8 months ago. The foster grandmother died 8 months ago, and now they're back at the old. They're searching through the old house or the house that she lived. Now they've got their car. So the question is, could it have been the foster grandmother? What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Here is the car. So this is her old car. And it's saying it's been linked to the investigation. They believe that his body may have been moved into the car, which was owned by the foster grandmother. So, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, it's pretty interesting, though, isn't it? That her car and her house all being dug up. As I said, that was just merely speculation. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. Well, that's the other thing, Karen. Are they trying to pin it on a dead woman? That's the other question. I mean, that's what it seems to be, doesn't it? Because it's funny that everything's linked to the foster grandmother at the moment. Well, we know that. Oh, is there? I'll have to see if I can find that and see what he's got to say. I'm sure though they would have, because I know in a lot of these cases they start off with the family and they start at the family and they rule out. They start ruling everybody out. So, yes, he was removed for illegally recording, wasn't he? He was recording a conversation or something, wasn't he? Well, we know that Mick Fuller and we know David Elliott, are heavily involved in the fixated persons unit, that protected bras and went after family jollies. So we know all of that. So we know that there is, New South Wales Police have questions on them, So, yeah, I don't know. It just seems to be like it's all pointing to the dead foster grandmother at this point in time. Whether that's right or wrong, but that's what it looks like. And we've got the federal police coming in today with the extra equipment. I think, look, we do want the truth to come out. We do want the truth to come out, and we have to have the truth out. It's only fair that the truth comes out. And I think the family deserves to know the truth, and I think the Australian community also deserves to know the truth because we've been living this case for 7 years. Sure, we don't have the grief that the family have, but we've lived and breathed this case, and we have to know the truth. But it looks like, for all intents and purposes, the focus is on the foster grandmother at the moment. At the house and her car. I mean, they've even come out and said they believe that that car may have transported his body. So who was driving the car? So this is the... Well, yeah, we mentioned that yesterday, Karen, that it seemed to be that after Cleo was found, suddenly William Tyrrell suddenly took another priority again. Nothing's happened for 7 years. Oh, I mean, why has it taken 7 years to look for remains? I guess that's part of my question. As the lady said before, she thought it might have been done earlier. Why has it taken this long to get to start searching? I don't know, maybe they need to send the WA police in. I'm just saying. That would be a really big insult, wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, there is a rumor that I was reading, Karen, and there's nothing to substantiate the rumor that they're trying to find him a safe Liberal seat in Fed politics. So he'll probably retire from the police force and get a seat in politics. There's quite a few at the moment that are vacant because John Alexander's retiring. So they reckon that there's talk he may try and go straight into politics. So I think, he's probably trying to go out on a high, definitely, in my opinion. What better way to solve? Well, I mean, isn't he the neighbour of the Prime Minister? Is ScoMo's neighbour, I think. So I think that's all that you need to know. If we want to get technical. Yeah. So I do want to do a stream. I might do a video later. I do want to talk about the protests in Melbourne and the threats made to Daniel Andrews, like him or hate him. Nobody deserves to have their life threatened. And I think, and what shocks me about that is that, one, state opposition ministers have been protesting. Two, the opposition leader hasn't condemned the protests, nor has he condemned his ministers. And the federal government have been very quiet about the threats as well. Look, you're allowed to protest, but don't make threats. So anyway, they're actually being investigated for false arrest without a warrant. That's right. Remember that the police are actually the fixated persons unit are actually under scrutiny at the moment for the arrest of Christo. Yeah, it does. And what better way? He can't condemn his QAnon following. I just am really. I just find it very, very interesting why. The opposition leader is coming out and criticising the government for the Andrews government for all these things, but yet he's very silent. I mean, two of his ministers, two of the LNP politicians have been in the protests. They should be. If I was the leader, I would be tearing shreds off them. There is no way I would want to be associated with people who are making threats to a state leader. And again, when they're carrying gallows and says that they want the leader's head in the gallows, that's pretty vile and disgusting. And I really, as I said, like him or hate him, it's unacceptable to speak like that. I don't like ScoMo, but I would never wish violence on him. I don't agree with everything that Andrews says and does, but I don't agree. And the thing is, they made threats against his family as well. I mean, that is disgusting. Now, if you want to talk about needing a fixated persons unit, there is a proper cause. You've got a politician who has had death threats, public death threats. And what's the LNP doing? Nothing. Hello. ScoMo gets to go. He's been so much. Oh, look, by his silence though, does he agree that with the death threats? See, this is my issue. Sometimes you can, by not saying anything, You're actually showing. It's what you don't say sometimes more than what you do say that matters. Do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily what. And so by not condemning the violence, he's really, not helping. Okay. Anyway, look, I'm feeling a little bit better. I've still got the medication. I'm still taking the cold and flu tablets. I'm keeping the medication up at the moment. I still need a couple more nights off, but I'll probably still do a mid-morning live stream again, particularly with the Tyrrell stuff as we find out what's going on there. As I said, it's really sad, but I just find it very interesting why they're back at the the foster grandmother's house 8 months after she's passed away. And I posted something on Facebook yesterday about the new pandemic laws that Victoria proposed against the pandemic laws that New South Wales have, to show that Victoria actually has more accountability. And of course I had people say, but Victoria's been locked down more than New South Wales, but that's not in the... So... Oh dear. Look at this. Oh, look, how's this for... We're going to hear about this today. Look. Former Labor MP Craig Thompson charged over alleged migration fraud. What's the bit? This is going to be the focus today. Former federal Labor MP Craig Thompson has been charged over his alleged involvement in a multi-million dollar migration fraud. The Australian Federal Police officers arrested Mr. Thompson, 57, at his Tyrrell home on the New South Wales Central Coast this morning. It's alleged he is the prime facilitator of the scheme. He was charged with several offences, including providing false documents relating to non-citizens. He's expected to face Gosford local court today, and more to come. So this has just come. So what's the bet? What that this is going to have a spin on it, hey? So I'll keep you all updated with all of this stuff as we go on. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'm going to head off now. I need to take some more medication and probably go and have another sleep. And I will catch you again soon. Thank you for watching. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.